Hello and welcome back to another episode of Attack of the B-Team. My name is Classic Tim, and today we have quite a bit planned again. We are moving into the space station hopefully today completely, so that means we don't have to hop back nearly as often. And that means that we're going to definitely need some storage there, which is what I've been doing here. You see this little farm I set up here. So basically what I did is I put these dirt blocks here just to make the spacing easier. And then you put the stained saplings on top of the dirt. And then you can connect them with logs just like this. And then you just bone meal the saplings, and then they grow into trees just like this. And then with this lumber axe, which I made earlier, it cuts down an entire tree in one go. But if you connect them all with logs like this, it considers the entire structure here one tree. So all I have to do is tap this one, and then all the trees get chopped down, and then I can get all the saplings from all of them. It definitely makes getting all the dyes for this Project Red system a whole lot easier. Oops, I forgot to grow these last ones, but that's okay. If you have any questions about the Project Red system, I actually put up a tutorial yesterday, I think. You should definitely check that out if you don't know how to do it, because it is super helpful. Anyway, I've actually already set up enough of the storage system in there to move all of my junk in there so far. But I still have this oxygen collector and oxygen compressor here because I haven't set up anything to give this oxygen yet. I put the leaves down, but I still need to set up a way for it to give it power and to give it oxygen pipes and everything like that. So let's go head over to the space station. And hopefully we won't have to hop back nearly as often this time. So you can see up here I put some leaves. I did the... I'm stuck in a block here. Okay. I did the calculations and looked at the max radius of this thing. So if I were to put it here, right in the center of this hallway, then it could reach up to this block and this block, which gives me, and I still have room for this hallway here and this over here, and it goes up to here. So I don't know if this is like top efficiency. I think you need something like 270 leaf blocks. So this probably isn't that much, but I think that it's going to be okay because we're going to have a bunch of these in this hallway here. But for now, this should be fine with just the one. But once we start, trying to fill up this entire area with oxygen, then we're probably going to need a little bit more. Okay. Either way, we're going to have to route the wires through this somehow, which I figured I was going to do by putting this here. That means that we need to put power through one end here, and then the oxygen pipes, this iron golem's getting in my way, through here. So that we can have each of them coming out, and then we can also have them go this way and this way, which you see I left holes for too. I'll probably come out right here. And then we can connect them to the next set of oxygen collectors, the next set, the next set, and the next set. You can overlap them. So if I put another oxygen collector right here, it's still going to collect the oxygen from all these leaves up to a certain point, even though this one's collecting it too. I'm not sure if that's totally going to be necessary because we have quite a lot of space here that we're going to have to fill. We'll have to see how much oxygen they really produce. Okay. So let me just go ahead and show you this system here. If we right-click on this pipe, you'll see all my items, just 3 pages of it. This is so much easier just to be able to look for whatever you want. I can't stress that enough, how awesome this is to have, and I can't believe I waited this long to make it because I really, really needed it. Okay, now this is a glitch. It says I have 2 hammers here, but I only have 1 hammer in there. I've noticed this for a while. I think it's got something to do with all the intersections I have down here. I thought that I could fix it by putting these panels here, because the way I have it is it just comes down here and then separates here, and then it goes down this line, and then these chests are where my stuff is. And the pipes, the purple pipes here, all have chips in them, so these chests here just aren't being connected and used right now, but all of these are. So I'm not really sure what's glitching out, because it all makes sense. There's junction pipes at the junctions, and there's routed interface pipes at each of the chests, but they're not connected to 2 chests, which I made sure because it's That's why I put the panels here, so this one didn't try and connect to this chest too. And I cannot figure out why it's doing that. I think it's got something to do with the enhanced portals. There's kind of like a sync issue, which is why I can see the Iron Golem over there, even though he's in the overworld, but I can still see him. And I think it does it with entities too, so I think it might just be glitching out for that reason. So this count actually everything's probably doubled here or something like that, because it doesn't make sense. But I think relogging fixes it. So hopefully, in the future, when we can spend more time in the space station, we don't have to worry about that as much. The syncing issues with the enhanced portals, because we can spend most of our time here. Okay, so back up to the power here. I've still got these machines here, which is not an ideal situation for them. It would make more sense for them to be in here somewhere. I wouldn't mind having them just in this center ring here, because they're machines that I'm going to be using a lot. Pretty much everything that you have to make, you can use those for. So I wouldn't mind having them in this center area where you spawn in. Maybe I'll do something either on this wall, because this is here, or, see, the problem is that we got these corridors here, so we can't really do anything on these walls. And same thing over here. So maybe we'll do something in the corner here. I haven't totally decided yet. Either way, I'm not going to want to have to run power cables from these cells all the way to the in here. So we're going to have to use Tesseracts, which basically Tesseracts let you wirelessly transmit power, fluids, items, and pretty much everything. But they're really a pain to make, so we're going to be doing that today. Probably what I'll end up doing, just to save a Tesseract, is have the power cable come up here, through this pipe here, and connect in the middle, so that way I can connect both of these to one Tesseract. Even though it's actually probably not going to save that much time, I think it's going to be cooler that they both connect into one place, and then that sends off power to the rest of the space station. So I made actually a bunch of these redstone energy conduits, which is the upgraded version, so they can definitely transmute enough power here. So let's bring this up and see if I can get in there. Which one is in the center here? There we go. That should have connected. Okay, and then bring this. This is why actually having a bat is useful, because you can get in these small areas like this one. So let's bust a hole here and fly in if we can, and bring the wire towards the center. Okay, but obviously we're going to have to make a Tesseract first, which is basically what most of this clutter in my inventory is right now, because there are tons of steps to making a Tesseract. Let's see how much we can get done right now. Okay. Open up the Tesseract. First we need to make the Tesseract frame, which takes these enderium ingots, which are kind of a pain to make. You have to first make this pyrotheum dust. So let's make some of that as much as we can. That's 26. That'll definitely be enough. And then we also need this enderium blend, which you make with pulverized tin, pulverized shiny metal, and resonant ender bucket, which is basically just molten ender pearls. So we should be able to make some of that. I got the bucket here. I got some tin, and I have some shiny metal. Oh, it's not shaped crafting. Okay. Either way, we'll make some of that, and I got one more bucket, so we can have 8, which is enough for 2 Tesseracts, I believe. So now let's go ahead and throw that in the induction smelter to combine that to make enderium. Now, while that's going, let's go back here and talk about this laser drill a little bit. So I did the math, and it's going to take about 252 magmatic dynamos to get this thing working at peak efficiency. And I laid out the wires here just to give myself a little bit of a estimate of how much space it's going to take up and how many dynamos I need, so I don't have to keep counting. So basically, as I make the dynamos, I just put one here, and one here. So there's 3 on each layer on each one of these, and then all the way up 21 blocks to get the total of 252. And then once that's all done, this thing will make about 1 ore every 5 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it definitely adds up. So as I start going here, I'll just continuously add more and more dynamos and get more and more power. I still actually I haven't even added the lava fabricators yet, so I still got a lot of work to do on this. But at least it looks cool already, even though it's not doing anything for us. And it'll actually be nice if we can put a Tesseract right here too, or we can just pipe it up right to our storage system since it's right there. Let's go see if that Enderium blend is done now that we're done talking about that. There we go. So I got 8 of these, and this will let us make the Tesseract frame. Should be, yep, we need 2 of those. So now we actually have to fill this up with Molten Ender too. Only 1 bucket each, so that's 8 Ender Pearls, because it's 4 buckets, 4 Ender Pearls per bucket, so it's 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so we'll let that run. Okay, so now we have 2 Tesseract frame full. Still not a Tesseract, we're almost there. But before we do that, before we finish making these into Tesseracts, I've got this secret chest down here. You notice it says factory block just like the rest of it, but it's not connected. That's because it's actually a chest. These are actually really cool. I'm still at that. Let's turn back into me. Oh, that popped up from down there. I was going to say, where'd that pop out from? But yeah, so this is a chest, so you can interact with this and store stuff in it. And you see I got a bunch of junk in here right now, and that is because I haven't installed a extractor chip yet. I noticed last time we talked about the Project Red system, I actually forgot to make one. I was supposed to. But either way, this just takes some cyan dye for this chip. But if you just put it in like this, it is incredibly slow. It is totally not worth even using unless you use the upgrades. So let's make the upgrades now. So let's store some of the stuff that we don't need anymore. Don't need any more coal, no more tin. We don't need more bone meal. We don't need these saplings. So you see this is filling up where this is supposed to be being pumped into my system, which is what the extractor chip is for. So first, let's make some upgrades. Upgrade. We're going to need to make a bunch of these null logic upgrades, 6 of them to be exact. And then we're going to want to make the left upgrades and the right upgrades. You really only need the left upgrades, but I figured, might as well. It's the same recipe. Might as well just make them. So they're pretty easy to make. So we need 3 of the LX because you need that to make the LY. So 2 of those. And then finally 1 Z. 1 Z. Did I forget something? Am I out of redstone? I am out of redstone. Do I have more here? Redstone? Uh-oh. Okay, I'm completely out of redstone. I was really hoping that I wasn't going to have to make any cuts. You know what? Why not? Let's just hop over to the overworld here. It's a great thing about Attack of the B team. There's always some redstone lying around somewhere. There we go. I remember seeing some here before. So this is basically how I've been living, is when I go want to craft something, I literally just fly over to this ravine. I'm sorry for the flashing. That's probably annoying. I just fly over to this ravine and harvest all the resources that I need, which is what the laser drill will be for in the future, because that'll be harvesting all of our resources, so we do not have to. All we have to do is pump in power. Okay, so now we should be able to make the LZ upgrade. We only need 1, not 2. Let's not do that by accident. That would suck. Okay, and then the right ones are literally the exact same thing except mirrored. What happened to my lapis? Oh well. Lapis. I need some more of this. This is why this thing is so nice. So instead of having to search all over for just one item in all my chests, I just have to right click on that and I'm good to go. Okay. 2 of these right ones and then 1 more Z. 1 more Z. Okay, and now to install these into the chip, we need the router utility, which takes another emerald. Thankfully, when I went mining before, I found some emeralds, so we can do this, which is why I probably didn't do this right away, is because I didn't have any emeralds. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and right-click on this, put the extractor chip in there, and then just fill it up with every type of upgrade. Still missing 1, there we go, and then install them. So now Just make sure this is configured right. Let's make a blacklist. Now, once we put it in there, into this pipe right here, in just a second, once it registers that it's there, it's going to suck all these items out. And there we go. That's what the upgrades are for. So now we can just kind of shovel all of our junk into here whenever we're done with it and not have to worry about where it's going. Because then all we have to do is right click and it's all there. Awesome. Okay. So where were we? Tesseract. Back to the Tesseract. So now we have to make an actual Tesseract. For that we need 4 silver and 4 bronze. Let's see how prepared I am. Bronze. I have some plates. You can use the plates, but I don't really want to. And then silver. Let's just use them. I'm not going to use them for anything else. Actually, we need 8 of those. So grab some more. And silver. And 8 silver as well. There we go. And where's the bronze? Did it not come? I think this might have something to do with the enhanced portals. Sometimes stuff doesn't appear, and then if I log out and log back in, it's there. So I'll just request some more. Hopefully this time it works. See, it still says 16, so it didn't request last time or something. Bronze. I would like some bronze. 8. Submit, 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 submit. See, this is something to do with the enhanced portals, because every time I go through the portal, which I just did to get the redstone, it just doesn't work sometimes. Okay, I'm just going to relog really quick. That should fix it. Once we get going with the space station, we shouldn't have to hop back nearly as often. So now if we go bronze... Okay, well now we're at 8, so I don't know where the... is it here? Well, hopefully this works, because now I'm, like, running out of bronze. Okay, it worked that time. I don't know what happened to the rest of it. You know what that probably was? That was... I probably only had 8, and I bet that was a glitch with this. Like, I thought I had more. Whatever. These enhanced pearls are kind of buggy. Oh, yeah, but our iron golem's not there, because I relogged. Okay, either way, let's make a Tesseract. There we go. We got 2 Tesseracts, which you would need at least 2 anyway. So now we'll put 1 right up here. Let's see how centered is this? The center is right. Let's make sure I'm centered here. Yeah, right here. So this is where we would want the Tesseract. So let's make this 1 longer, it looks like, and then put the Tesseract right there. Okay, and for whatever reason, I always do 282 for power. Literally no reason. It's just the number I like. And then we'll save it as power. Check. And make it just for me. Save that. That should have worked, right? Yeah. So now it's highlighted. So now this should be receiving all the power from this over here. And we should probably add some kind of storage cell over here just for extra power. Okay, but now we can come down here and put a Tesseract. This one probably isn't that big of a deal because we could pretty easily run a wire down here, but this is more for things that are like way off in different parts of the space station. You know, it's a lot easier to just place one of these down. Okay, so let's first place this down. Should we do it right next to the oxygen compressor? Let's do it. See, I don't know if we are ready for the oxygen sealer, which seals us in, because you know I'd have to seal that off. I'd have to seal that off down there. So I think that we're still going to have to be living off these tanks for a little bit longer. So let's just put the Tesseract right here. Right here. And then we'll just do connect it to that system again, so we can get our power, and then change it to input. Okay, this is actually on receive, so let's make sure this one's on send. Yeah, this should be set to send. There we go. So that should send the power to here, and then we can run. Well, let's go ahead and get the oxygen collector while we're at it. Not this one, this one. So I got to do this pretty quick because if I take these down, then I don't have any oxygen to fill up my tanks. So better do this quick. Okay, and I know it'd probably be cheaper to use the aluminum wires instead of these redstone ones for this, but I like the redstone ones more, so I'm going to use them. Okay, this is the compressor. We want the collector. We'll put the collector right in the center here. And I can't remember which is which. Like which one. This has to go through here, right? Oh no, this thing's not in the right spot. Yeah, this thing should be right here. Like that. I can't remember which one's oxygen and which one's power. I'm feeling like red is power. I mean red is oxygen. So let's just try this. And give it power through here. That's connecting, so that's a good sign. Alright, and let's run the wire just like this. And you can kind of go up like that, and over and up. Alright, so let's see if it's getting power now. It is, and it is collecting oxygen. We are going at 340 per second. I don't remember how much it was doing off in the overworld. I'll have to look that out. I think it was maybe 400, so we're just below peak efficiency, so I think that's going to be okay considering where we're putting it. Okay, and then let's put our oxygen pipes over this way. So eventually this is going to be running to the oxygen. Let's just run it up here. Eventually this is going to be running to the oxygen sealers, which are going to be routed throughout the base, but for now this is just going to go right over here, and you know, we could run it pretty much anywhere, because this one is actually going to have to run throughout the entire base because we can't pump this through a Tesseract. It just doesn't work. It's not supported. So we'll have to figure out something. I can just run it up against the wall here. This actually look pretty cool, having that, you know, run all around. We can probably hide this a little bit better. But for now, let's just run this straight down here and put our oxygen compressor right here. And now it doesn't have power. So for now, actually, let's put this over here. I know I'm hopping all around, but whatever. So just temporarily, we'll put this right here, and we'll rotate it so it's facing the right way. And we can connect this just like that. Alright, so now this has received power, and I can grab one of these, put it in there, and we are now getting oxygen in space, so I don't have to hop back and forth. We now have all of our stuff in here, so we don't have to hop back and forth for that. At the moment, the only thing I have to hop back and forth for is resources, such as the redstone I just had to get. So that's where this comes in. So let's set up some, I'm going to go make some more lava fabricators and some more magmatic dynamos, and we'll get this thing started in just a second. Okay, actually scratch that, guys. I did not realize I talked for that long, so I'm actually just going to end the episode here. I'm going to get this stuff off camera, get the lava fabricators going, the magmatic dynamos, see if I can add a bunch of those, do it off camera, maybe clean up a little bit here. You know, we're just kind of moving into the space station, so it's kind of like moving into a new house. You know, you kind of got boxes sitting everywhere and like empty wires hanging out. So we'll clean this up a little bit more as time progresses and we figure out where everything goes. But yep, like I said, I'm ending it here, so I will see you guys next time.